I remember the first day of my sophomore year more clearly than any before. I was very excited to get back to work and to see my friends and my new teachers. I was very ready for a new adventure. I was also very ready for a very positive distraction. That positive distraction I needed was to distract me from what was going on at my house. So my excitement followed me up right until I walked into my first period classroom on the first day of school. And then I was reminded of some things that were going on. And I actually ended up going the entire first period, the entire 59 minutes, just staring at my teacher. I had no idea what was going on, no idea what he was saying. Mental health is a very wide range of conditions that affect your mood, your thinking, and your behavior. And there are still some people today that get really freaked out when you use the words mental and health together. When they hear that, some people jump to the conclusion that you are insane and that you have a mental disorder. A study taken by the Newport Academy a couple years back found that about only 25% of young adults, teens, people our age, felt sympathetic to people dealing with their mental health, their mental challenges. Only 25%. That's like 5 rows in here, maybe less than that. 25% represents a very large negative stigma about talking about mental health and asking for help. We have this idea of how we want to appear to our friends and to our family and to the public. And talking about our mental health and how we may need some help every once in a while really doesn't fit into that idea. Last year, I had to go through the separation of 2 very important people in my life. And while separation isn't uncommon among families, I still never thought it would happen to me. I mean, who does? Now, ever since I can remember, since I was young, my initial reactions to things have never been good ones. And if you know, I have this really mean face that comes over me sometimes, whether it's negative or positive, and I'll just stare at you. I'm not going to do it right now, don't worry. Sometimes I can control it. Sometimes I give it to you on purpose. Other times, I don't. But when I first heard about the separation, I was very mad. But more than anything, I was confused. I was confused about why the separation had happened, and I was confused about how I now felt towards these 2 very important people. Right around the same time, I had sort of a falling out with a very good friend of mine, and then my current girlfriend at the time. We decided to break up. So things were going really well for me. Sarcasm. So I thought to myself, what could I do to continue to distract me from what was going on in my life? And I thought, I know. I'll get really involved in school. And I don't know if that was the best idea, because I got really involved, a little bit too involved. But I still needed that positive distraction. And so I went a while doing lots of different school activities until I realized one day that I was pretty alone. With all the school activities I was doing, they were great and they were very positive things, but I was doing them alone. And I didn't have anybody around me that I could go and talk to about anything besides these great positive things that I was doing at school. I realized that diving so deep into my work had really made me distant from everybody else. So after this realization, I kind of started not to care about things. I figured, well, I'm doing these things alone, but they don't need to be done. I don't need to do them. They were, in my head, distractions for me. So I just kind of gave up, and I started not to care about those things anymore. But even though I knew that I was giving up on those things, I couldn't let anybody see that. I had this reputation of being this very strong-willed, very hard, mean person who didn't have any emotion towards anything. And so I couldn't appear weak to my friends, or to my family, or to the public. That didn't fit in with the idea, the reputation that I had. So I was confused again about what do I do? Until one Thursday night, I was watching my favorite show, Grey's Anatomy. That's right. And one of the patients was talking to one of the doctors about being vulnerable and trying something new. And what I got from that was that what was making me weak was not asking for help when I knew that I needed it. And that what makes us strong in the time where we feel weak and alone and powerless is actually asking for help. So I'm happy to say now that after all of these realizations and after all of this confusion and not knowing what I was doing, that I did get the help that I knew that I needed and wanted. And for me, that was just some counseling. I just needed somebody to talk to who I didn't know, but who I knew wasn't going to judge me for what I said or what I was feeling. I know that I'm not perfect, and I'm not happy all the time. I still have that face. But what's important to me is that I know now that it's okay to ask for help when I feel like I need it. We as a society, as individuals, as friends, brothers, sisters, mothers, daughters, whoever you are to somebody, and we all are somebody, we need to make our others feel that it's okay to ask for help when they need it. And if you are one who is needing some help, or who's wanting it, just ask. There are so many people and programs and services readily available for you. You just have to ask. You just have to find the courage and ask. So I want to challenge each of you here today to really think about how you are making somebody else, your other, feel comfortable enough to ask for help if they need it. Really think about that. I think it's 100% our responsibility as individuals to be there for each other and to help each other overcome whatever it is that we're going through. I'm not saying you have to be somebody's therapist 100% of the time, but be open to listening to somebody talk for 5 minutes about what's going on. Sometimes that's all we need, is just somebody that will listen to us for a couple minutes. There's this new thing starting in high schools around the country, and I'm pretty excited about it. They're called wellness centers. And they are built around students and what students need to not feel alone or weak or powerless, and a bunch of other things. And I'm very proud to say that we will be getting a wellness center soon so that no student goes feeling alone or weak or powerless. I'm going to end with a quote from my favorite person ever, Lady Gaga. All right. Good response. She said this after winning her most recent Grammy. She has a whole bunch of them. She said, "If you see someone that's hurting, don't look away. And if you're hurting, even though it may be difficult, try to find the bravery within yourself to dive deep and go tell someone and take them up in your head with you." Thank you.